If you're a private practice owner and you can't step away for even 3 days without a lot of chaos, that's a system problem, not a personality trait. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to make your practice run itself for 14 days using checklists, coverage plans, and simple delegation. This is exactly how we do it with our real clinics. If you're a U.S. private practice owner or a clinical director with 1 to 10 locations and you haven't had a real 2-week break in years, this is for you. If your team texts you on your days off or for every small decision, you don't own a business. You own a fragile job. And by the end, you're going to have a simple 3-part plan. First, list what breaks without you. Second, plug the gaps with checklists or people, or both. And third, run a 14-day stress test so that you know your practice can survive without you being there. First, let's start with why your practice can't run without you. It's usually not because your team is dumb or lazy. It's usually because only you know how half the work actually gets done. And so for 1 week, I want you to run a simple owner dependency audit. So what you're going to do is you're going to grab a notepad or you're going to open up a Google Doc, and every time someone asks you to do something that only you can answer, I want you to stop and write it down. Decisions, approvals, quick questions, schedule changes, refund approvals, vendor stuff, all the staff drama, everything. And at the end of the week, you're going to have a brutally honest list of all of the ways your clinic is glued to you. And so from there, what you can do is you can divide that list into 2 primary columns. Column 1 is clinical work that legally or ethically only you can do, right? And so column 2 is going to be the admin and ops stuff. This is usually work that someone else could do with the right system. So I worked with one owner who, once we did this, she realized that she was the only one who could actually approve refunds, who could change schedules, or who could respond to every angry email. And so that meant that every upset patient and every minor scheduling tweak had to go through her phone all the nights and the weekends. So here's the rule that I want you to use. If it happens more than once a month, it's not a license issue. It's usually something that should eventually be done without you. Not necessarily tomorrow, but it goes on the list of things I'm going to remove my name from over the next couple weeks. And so this audit alone can be a little painful, but that's good because that pain is information. It shows you exactly why a 2-week break feels impossible for you right now. Now, once you've got that list, the next step is turning only I can do this into somebody else could follow this. Because the reason why you can't leave is because all of the how lives in your head or in some random EMR note. And so we're going to use a simple 4D process for each recurring admin or operational task. It's document, demonstrate, and delegate. First, do it once intentionally, not on autopilot. All right. So the next time you handle a voicemail or, an end of day closeout, I want you to slow down and try to notice every single step of that process. Second is to document. I want you to document the steps as a basic checklist. And so what you don't need to do is create a 20-page policy manual, just some bullet points in a Google Doc or your EMR or maybe your task tools. Things like check email, return calls, flag outcomes, or flag any urgent issues here. Third is demonstrate. Demonstrate it live to a staff member or a virtual assistant while you actually follow the checklist that you created. You can share your screen or stand next to them at the front desk and literally say, we're going to do this together, step by step. And fourth, you delegate and track one simple metric from that task. For a front desk, that might be voicemails cleared by 4 p.m. at the end of the day. Or for no-shows, it might be no-show rate that's under X% with reminders sent by Y time. For billing and AR, it might be AR over 60 days is less than blank dollar. The point is that you're not just throwing tasks at somebody, which we've all made that mistake. You're going to give them a checklist in a number that tells you if what you're doing is working. Okay, let me give you a concrete example. An end of day front desk closeout might look something like this. Number 1, confirm tomorrow's schedule is full and accurate. Number 2, check all voicemails and return urgent calls and document the outcomes. Number 3, send no-shows and follow-ups and get them rescheduled. Number 4, flag any billing issues and send them to your billing person or your virtual assistant. Is that perfect? No. Is it better than just use your best judgment? 100%, absolutely. Good enough and written beats perfect and stuck in your head all day, every day. And you can refine that checklist over time, but you can't refine something that just doesn't exist. So even with checklists, your team may still not know who decides what when you're gone. And that's where the 14-day coverage and escalation plan comes in. So there are usually 3 parts. First is a coverage map. Second is escalation routes or rules. And third is a daily huddle rhythm. So let's start with coverage map. So coverage map, for your 14 days away, you're going to write down who owns what. Who owns front desks and phones? Who owns billing and money questions? Who owns operations and stuff is broken issues? Who owns HR issues? One of my favorite litmus tests is to kind of have a team in a circle and just to say, all right, on the count of 3, everybody point to the person who owns the front desk stuff while I'm gone. 1, 2, 3. And then everybody should clearly point to the same person. When everybody's pointing to the right person, then you know you got it right. From there, you can set your escalation rules, right? So here's an example. Front desk can comp up to X dollars or squeeze in 1 extra same-day visit without asking anyone. Anything bigger goes to whoever that designated lead is. And so the point is you're giving them a budget on their decision-making frameworks. Only things that impact legal or clinical risk or go over a certain budget need to actually wait on you. And so you're basically saying, here's what you can decide on your own. Here's when you ask the lead, and here's what needs to wait on me when I get back. And so from there, you can remove 80 to 90% of the should we bug the owner discussion. Now add your daily huddle. So it's 10 to 15 minutes run by someone other than you, and they review 3 numbers. They review yesterday's shows and no-shows. They review visits and maybe daily revenue or charges if that's appropriate for your team. Anything off gets addressed today, not 3 weeks later when you're catching up or when you return, but address it before the owner gets back. So let's walk through a quick scenario. Let's say the schedule blows up because a provider calls out sick. An angry patient is demanding a refund, or a claim gets denied and someone's upset about their bill. With no plan, all 3 end up on your phone, right? And so with a coverage and escalation plan, your front desk follows the checklist for same-day schedule changes. They offer a standard make good for the angry patient under the refund limit, and billing follows their denial workflow and adds it to the simple AR report for your billing owner to approve or review. And so you don't have to be in the building for that to happen. That's the point, right? So that now you have more freedom in a team that's actually owning the outcomes that you're looking for. Here's the bonus that most owners skip. Before you fly to Hawaii, run a 3-day silent test while you're still in town. And so for 3 days, once you have all this set up, you act like you're gone. You're reachable for true emergencies only, but you're not answering quick questions. You're not jumping in to fix schedule issues or billing drama. All right. And so everything that breaks in those 3 days would have blown up your vacation, right? And so that's good news because now you can see it before you're on the beach with your family. And so after the test, you can sit down with your team and ask 3 questions. What broke? What was unclear in the checklist or coverage plan? And what's still required of me that shouldn't have been, right? And those answers become your next to-do list before you stretch it out to 14 days. And so failing this test is not a sign that you're a bad owner or that your business is bad. It's just a sign that you finally have some data that you can work on instead of a bunch of anxiety. Quick recap. Step 1, audit everything only you do with the owner dependency audit. Step 2, turn repeat tasks into checklists, then do, document, demonstrate, delegate with a simple metric. Step 3 is build a coverage and escalation plan, then run a 3-day silent test before you push it to 14 days. So if you want help actually building checklists like this and plugging your admin gaps with trained healthcare virtual assistants, that's exactly what my team does all day at Inbox Zero VA. We help private practice owners just like you remove themselves from the inbox, the phones, and the constant admin firefighting. Click the link below, book a call, and we'll map out maybe what your 14-day ready practice looks like. And even if we never work together, you'll leave the call with a clear, practical plan that you can have today. All right, book the call and then start that owner dependency audit. See you on the next one.